Employee selection is defined as the process of selecting and interviewing candidates for a specific job and selecting a specific individual for employment based on a certain criteria. We've made it easier to identify who the right people are by breaking it down for you. In his book Good to Great, Jim Collins mentions that the old adage, "people are your most important asset," is wrong. People are not your most important asset, but rather the right people are. The right people have the relevant qualifications, show interest in the company, and their goals are aligned with those of the company. Further, they should have human and social network ability and must be trustworthy. It is all good and well to find the right employee. However, there is a process as to how we find the right employee, which comprises of the following 5 steps, each of which will be discussed in detail for the remainder of the presentation. Step 1. Prepare. In the words of Benjamin Franklin, failing to prepare means preparing to fail. During this phase, line management and HR should ensure that the role that they are recruiting for is aligned with the organization's current strategies and in turn be in sync with the external and internal environments. The aim is to identify the human resource required that will meet the organization's goals, implement and execute the strategies through role analysis. This involves interviewing the relevant persons to collect role-specific information that match functions, duties, responsibilities, and behavioral competencies required by the role. From the role analysis, we will be able to determine the role description, which leads to the identification and the requirements of qualifications needed as per the role specifications. Just as hand-eye coordination is needed for a tennis player, pace and agility for a basketball player, and their special skill set allow them to fulfill their specified role, so too will you need to match your potential candidate's skills to their role. This analysis provides all involved with a clear picture of the human resource required. Recruitment options depend on the specificities of the role. Examples of methods include an HR database that can be used to determine whether there is talent within the organization that is fit for the role. We also have web-based recruitment, which allows us to reach a broad external market in a cost-effective way. Not only do they learn about the job, but the culture and values of the organization, aiding realistic expectation and organizational fit. Step 2. Preliminary screening. There are numerous preliminary screening activities that can be used where the selection of tools should be role dependent. The tools we consider most successful include employment forms, psychometric tests, and assessment centers. The advantage of an employment form is that it can be used to screen a large pool of candidates as it allows for easy discrimination. The form requires prospective candidates to provide personal biographical information as well as information pertaining to specific criteria for the role. Psychometric tests can be used to assist in decision making, to select an individual for employment or promotion, or in attempts to predict behaviors at work by identifying competencies of individuals that match the job which are aligned to successful job performance. The personality test identifies the manner in which the applicant is most likely to behave. Personality traits aligned to the role analysis criteria could potentially lead to success in the job. Ability tests focus on the actual talent or skill required to perform a job successfully, whereas cognitive tests are a variety of mental ability assessments which are relevant to a variety of jobs focusing on problem solving. There are also work sample exercises, better known as simulation exercises, which involve the candidate performing the exercise as they would in the required position, which prove to be very valuable. Last but not least, we have assessment centers that contain several exercises with circumstances that are similar to the circumstances of the role the candidate will encounter. Step 3. Interview shortlist. Filtering applicants from the preliminary stage is necessary as it generates a pool of candidates that are close to becoming fit for the role at hand. The generated pool of people can be further broken down by the use of scoring and weighting on the application form. However, the scores and weights will vary according to the role that is at question. For example, a potential candidate for marketing may have a score that is heavily weighed towards their hard skills as opposed to their soft skills. Step 4. The interview. From the pool of candidates, we can then begin to look into their CV. In addition to finding out about them on a personal level, such as their age, race, and gender, it is important for their CV to be consistent and formal. It must flow from what they have achieved and how they have achieved it. At this point, we will be able to assess whether their goals are in conflict with the goals of their organization. It is also important that there are no spelling mistakes and the CV is presented in a fashionable manner, as it is a sign of professional etiquette. Their CV will also identify what they are doing in order to develop themselves to remain relevant within the industry that they are operating in. The candidates, line managers, and HR consultants should all be equally prepared to ensure a successful interview process. Preparation also involves booking a location where the interview will be held and ensuring the availability of key individuals that are best suited for the interview panel. Depending on the nature of the job, structured or unstructured interviews can be conducted. In addition to being familiar with the organization and its products, the applicant should be prepared to ask relevant questions, display positive enthusiasm, and show a keen interest. Step 5. The offer. Once the right candidate has been found, an offer should be made on the spot. Due to the nature of the highly competitive environment that is constantly and rapidly changing, no time can be wasted, nor can we risk losing the right candidate to our competition.